Hello, friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And Midge, we have talked about a lot of different things on this podcast.
You don't say.
It's true. It's true. Strange but true. This is a new category of a thing, and so I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna go. So hang in there with me.
I'm hanging.
Because I want to talk about My Chemical Romance.
Oh hell yeah! What do you mean you don't know how this fits in?
No, I mean it fits in. I mean how to approach like the tale.
I gotcha.
I would, because obviously this is at the top of my mind because they are about to kick off a new tour, which I will be attending.
Of course.
But yeah, so like this is going to be somewhat of a history / timeline of the band, but I would say it's primarily going to be Penny talks about something she's into kind of thing. So I hope everyone enjoys that. Oh no. Oh, yeah, it's true. We never talk about things we're into on this podcast. What is your My Chem thoughts,
My relationship?
Midge? Are you a fan? Have you listened in the past? Just kind of what's the deal?
Big fan. Not as big a fan as Penny, but definitely a major part of my formative years.
Yes.
Love their music, love the members of the band. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe not every single person, but just about every person our age grew up with this woven pretty tightly through their fabric of adolescence, I think.
For sure. Definitely true to me.
Now, whether you got it or not, I can't say.
It's true.
You either got it or you didn't get it, and we get it.
Yep. The girls who girl My Chemical Romance. So there you go.
The girls who are not okay are not okay. Okay.
Exactly. I almost we've mentioned this before, but we have like little subtitles in our recording suite, and I almost set mine as not okay, but then I was like, Midge would know what that was immediately, so I have to add a little bit more mystique.
When it said not a phase, I thought, is she doing My Chem? And I was like,
yes,
no way.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we are.
Or I was like, okay, maybe she's just doing something about like the emo music movement.
Yes. Well, we'll have a little bit of general talk, but we are going for my favorite band. I will say is my favorite band. So, for anyone who does not know, My Chemical Romance is a rock band founded in New Jersey, and it was formed based on what major tragic event? Does Midge know?
I actually don't know that I do, no.
It's 9/11.
Oh, sure.
Well.
So, you mean the thing that affected all music made at this time?
Well, yes, but very specifically, Gerard Way, who is the band's front man, was an art student in New York City and witnessed the towers falling.
Right, I do recall that now that you say it.
Yes, and just as he was experiencing this, he was like, I got to start a band. Sometimes you just have a life change that kind of pushes you towards a passion or a creative pursuit. And so in September of 2001, he starts writing music, bringing together the band, and they start recording their first demos. And the band is named by Gerard's brother, Mikey Way, who ends up being the bassist for the band. He was working at Barnes & Noble at the time, which I'm like, this is the most 2000s job
yes.
Is working at Barnes & Noble.
Besides like a Foot Locker, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, anything mall related.
Right.
But it is named inspired by a collection of novellas by Irvine Welsh, who actually wrote Train Spotting, the novel.
Mm-hmm.
And his novellas was called Ecstasy, Tales of Chemical Romance. And Mikey was like, that's a pretty dope band name. And unlike most of us who go, that's a dope band name, they actually called a band that and made it happen.
See, Penny, we could have been several months into Carnal Rain by now.
Right, I know.
And you didn't show up for rehearsals.
I'm wasting time. I should be writing my Carnal Rain tunes. So just 3 months later, at the start of 2002, they are recording their first album, I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. And like the spooky vibes really start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
The debut single is Vampires Will Never Hurt You, which is literally about vampires. It is not, I mean, it's always a metaphor, but it is also actually about vampires. So they start, building a fan base, performing, and on a MySpace, because like we said, it's the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do get signed to a major label, and my first exposure, as most of us, I think, would be the second album, the iconic Three Cheers for
Three
Sweet
cheers for sweet
Revenge.
revenge. Woo!
Which just had its like remastered re-release this summer, and it
Yeah.
sounds so good if you haven't listened to it. I'm always like I would say I obviously like I enjoy music, but I'm not like a music expert.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I feel like I'm not always like when people are like, "Oh, like, the production on this or whatever." I'm kind of like
This is
I can't really tell.
this is a new like neurodivergent pitfall I have gone into
Yeah.
is like production. And I'll tell you what did it. Not that this has anything to do with what we're talking
No,
about.
please tell me.
Lady Gaga Mayhem,
Mm.
because I was listening to it and like how they produced this album, and her vocals sound so much more like raw than it's the one. I
Mhm.
like Lady Gaga, but it's the first time I've been like a fan.
Yeah.
And it literally is about production. Same with Twin Temple. They got me really into like, whoa, what are they doing production wise? So
Yeah.
I get it. And yes, the remaster is slay.
Yeah, I will say like the kind of my setup is that I don't usually know, and then I listened to a track
Mm-hmm.
off the remaster and I was like, "Oh, this
Oh,
sounds
I get it
really
now. Yeah.
good."
Uh-huh.
So that is definitely very cool. And just for a little nostalgia corner, I was a music video girl
Oh
in
yeah.
like high school and college. For any young people who are listening to this podcast, there used to be TV channels that just showed hours of music videos.
I was literally like about to say I'm hoping some of y'all will like go off in the Instagram comments about whether or not, mostly I want to hear from people who never had a MySpace. I want to
Oh
know
my
if
god,
you're
right?
I want to know if there are people listening to this that never had a MySpace account.
Oh, please do. Please tell us. Yeah. And like there was, MTV and Total Request Live was probably like the most famous thing. But I was a Fuse girl,
Oh
which was all
gosh.
like rock and alternative.
I haven't thought about Fuse.
Fuse. So yeah, I would just watch blocks of music videos when I was hanging out at home, and it was just the Helena video what just changed my brain.
Yes.
So good. And it kind of, I feel like it encapsulates just like so much of that era with like the black and red was
Mm-hmm.
the thing
The
in the
thing,
early
yeah.
2000s. You've got an awesome goth ballerina. You've got dramatic casket carrying. There's umbrella dancing. Like what else could anyone desire out of a music video? The vibes are immaculate.
They really are. That's a standout of this era for me for sure.
Yes. Yes. I am also a big fan of the I'm Not Okay and the Ghost of You video is like the
Yes.
World War II one, which
Yeah.
obviously even in high school I was not yet dressing vintage, but I was already like very into like, we would watch a lot of old movies in my family. So I was like, oh my God, like they have the whole like little USO dance kind of segment and stuff.
Yeah. And
Very
Gerard looks
cool.
so handsome in
So
that one.
handsome.
So
Yes.
dapper.
I will say, obviously, the dreaminess was also a major instigator in my fondness for this
Of
band.
course. Of course.
But the band's biggest success, and my personal favorite, is 2006, The Black Parade.
I haven't
Like,
heard of it. What?
new concept for you, Midge. Let me tell you about this. So there's this
Yeah, I
marching
wish you
band.
would. And would you say you were an older person or a young boy? Or
Yeah. I would say I was probably a young boy at the time, and my
yeah.
father took me
Where did
into
he
the
take
city.
you? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I feel like this is like the peak spookiness for MCR. I mean, obviously it is a concept album about dying, so
Period. Yeah.
there you go. What else are you gonna get? You've got the characters, you've got this goth marching band. I love like all of the illustrations from it. There's really gorgeous the album artwork. So there were original illustrations, like concept art from Gerard, because like I said, he was an art student and has gone on to work in comics and things like that. But then the official album art is by James Jean, who is a very highly decorated comic cover artist and also um, illustrated the movie poster for The Shape of Water.
Oh, damn. That's
Yeah,
cool.
among others, but just really gorgeous art, and I think like the videos and just uh the tours and all of the production. This is really one where you see like the theater gay kind of aspect of my
Yeah.
chem, I would
Yeah.
say, and why that kind of draws us in. Liza Minnelli has a guest spot on the album, which is really all you need to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, but as always, when there's something that's kind of dark that's popular, the normies don't like that. you
Yeah.
gotta, we gotta have a moral panic. And
Well,
noted
teenagers scare
bastion,
the living shit out of them.
right? One might say.
I, it's just gonna
uh,
keep happening. I'm so sorry.
it's true. There's so many good references. What are we gonna do? But there in 2008, the Daily Mail. What a great paper that
What a
definitely does
reliable
a
resource.
reliable resource of information.
Peak journalism.
Publishes an article saying emo music is a death cult, and specifically blames My Chemical Romance and being a fan of the band for the suicide of a British teenage girl. Very sad, but obviously this is the same kind of thing that happened to rock bands in the 80s, like Ozzy
Mm-hmm.
Osbourne, Judas Priest. And it is always kind of like, yeah, I bet that it's dark music that makes people depressed, and not that depressed music depressed people want to
Comes
listen to music that like is about themes they relate to.
Yeah, or like this kind of music comes from a time where a lot of people are experiencing the same depression due to the state of the world.
Right. Yeah, and it is kind of interesting. I guess I'll this was one of the things where I was like, I don't know when this will come up, but like just kind of emo as a concept the vibe has changed a lot, I feel, cuz
Mm-hmm.
like nowadays with all kind of like the revival stuff, like we're seeing a lot of things just being kind of casually all called emo. At the time, like my chem would say like they were not an emo band, and like there
Right.
were much firmer distinctions between like what's emo and what's scene and what's pop punk at the time. I lived through it. i saw
Yeah.
i
I
saw the
was
battles.
I was a scene kid, so
Exactly. And you would be like, they're not emo. They're
um
alt rock or power punk or
right.
but yeah, obviously all of these groups kind of get mushed together in the eyes of people who don't really understand. But in fact, I would say that there's generally a very positive kind of end message. Like obviously there's a lot of music that they make that's about anger or depression or sadness, but it all kind of comes around to sort of like a fuck you, I'm gonna keep going sort
Mhm.
of vibe. So whatever to the Daily Mail. Who
Well, I've been talking a lot about this recently with other
Yeah,
people, so I have to
please,
insert
yeah,
here.
get in
This
it.
is this is also where the conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne comes from.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because people were so afraid that this type of music was causing high suicide rates in teenagers. And if you are not familiar, there is a very famous conspiracy theory that Avril Lavigne committed suicide in like 2004,
Yeah.
and that a woman named Melissa took her place and has been being Avril ever since, and that's why her music like tone changed so severely. Um and the idea was that they would have done this to cover up the fact that
Yes.
she had died, so that people wouldn't be like, oh, her music is bad and makes people suicidal. um But yeah, that I mean, there was a real like a real panic
Well,
around this.
people do. I mean, you go all the way back. People claim that Paul McCartney secretly died and was replaced,
Mm-hmm,
like in the
mm-hmm.
Beatles. Like they're even obviously like from our perspective, we're like the Beatles are like not at all like intense, but
But they were really politically divisive at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true, and it causes problems. People are always looking for some kind of weird conspiracy they can attach to something that's popular.
And then you get these guys in black Sergeant Pepper's costumes
Yes, and it is
leading the
like
Black Parade, and people get freaked out.
they do. Yeah, it's very goofy, especially because like when you watch like behind the scenes stuff, like these guys are nerds. Like
Yeah, sweet baby angels.
the
Yeah,
sweet baby angels, they're like, oh yeah, we're playing D&D, or I actually,
or
I kind of,
writing Umbrella Academy.
yes, running Umbrella Academy, or like we kind of I kind of skipped over it because but like in the Three Cheers era, when they're touring with a lot of other kind of bands of the era who maybe are not super cool and progressive, like
Mm-hmm.
famously, for anyone who doesn't know, while they were on a tour, there was someone like related to one of the bands going around asking girls to like show their tits on camera, and be
Yeah.
like, we'll show this to the band. And like on stage that night, Gerard was so pissed that he was just like, you tell these shitty fucking dudes in rock bands to fuck off. So,
Period.
period. We stan. But after the Black Parade, in 2010, we get Danger Days, which is the next album. I love that in the lead up to this, there was so much talk in like interviews where they were like, oh, it's going to be really stripped down. Like, we're tired of the concept album. And then this also was fully a concept album.
I truly don't think that they know any other way to be.
No, they can't. You gotta be artsy. You gotta make your thing. Yeah. Dangerous, I would say, is probably is. I mean, obviously, like the Black Parade was such a huge success,
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't as big a hit. I still really like it. I like Danger Days, so I think it's badass. And you've got kind of like your corporate dystopia meets Mad Max Wasteland vibe.
Right.
The Gerard loves a theme. He's got to have a theme.
He's hosting theme parties.
Definitely. But after this, I mean, they continue to tour. This was actually the first time that I saw them live. I sadly was not able to make it to one of the Black Parade tour things, but I did go to the World Contamination tour.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. So they're touring, they release a side album, they're talking about recording their fifth album, but then in 2013, they announce that the band has broken up. I do
Womp
remember where
womp.
I was, just like the JFK shooting. I was like,
Where were you on the day the
where
world
were
fell
you on
apart?
the day My Chemical Romance broke up? But yeah, they really go their separate ways at this point. A lot of them start other bands. Like we said, there's comics. They work on different things. But new fans really keep coming and growing. And I feel like it's during kind of this post breakup period that you start getting a lot more critical and mainstream like appreciation. Because like when I was in high school, it was not cool to like My Chemical Romance.
Right, right.
Like obviously like there was a really passionate subculture, but like kind of mainstream, it was sort of like, this is pretty lame. And I was like, no, it's cool. I like it. But Halloween 2019, it is announced that they will be playing a reunion show in LA that December, and everyone goes nuts.
I was gonna
Like,
say I do remember where I was when that happened.
yes. And I will say, so, there's that meme that's just like your big flex that is only a flex inside like a very
A niche
small
community,
niche
right?
community. I will say, so this is my big flex. I was at the show. I was in the VIP balcony. It was incredible. It was the best thing. It was one of the best nights of my entire life. And it was so random. I mean, I think I've told you this story, Midge. I don't know that I've ever told this story like on the pod. But I was not planning to go because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get tickets. Like, I'm not gonna fly
Right.
to LA. Like, this is crazy. And then a friend,
Narrator. She
dear,
was going to fly to LA.
you're right. Spoiler alert. My a friend of mine reached out and was like, I might have a way to get tickets. If I get tickets, will you go? And I was like, of course I'll go.
Obviously. Yeah.
Obviously, yes. So we were able to get some tickets through bizarre, bizarre means. Mutual friend had a had an well, I'll keep it vague. The venue had offered a mutual friend of ours free passes to anything at the venue. And
Mm.
she was like,
She
what
said
about
anything?
right. So the thing was that they had said, we'll give you 4 tickets to like any show if you don't cause problems about this thing that happened. And
Ruh-roh.
she was like, what about the My Chem show? And they were like, we'll give you 2 for My Chem. And she was like, yeah, cool. And so she gave us her tickets and we went, and we did not realize until we got to the door that they were in fact VIP tickets,
Oh my god.
which was incredible. So we got to go up in the balcony. I saw many celebrity adjacent people.
Mm-hmm.
I had my photo taken by Frances Bean Cobain, Kurt and
Casual.
Cobain's daughter. My photo was in the back of my head. It was in her Instagram story at the time.
So you're basically famous now.
I'm basically famous. I am. I'll have to pull it up. I have a screenshot of it. I'll share it on the Instagram when this posts. But the photo of the band, like that was taken from the stage at the end of the show, you can see me in the background because my green hair.
I do recall this. Yes.
Yes. So basically, it was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. And because at the time we didn't know if there was ever going to be anything else. Like, it was
Right.
like, is it just one show? Like, so it was incredible to be there and to experience it. And then in January they do announce a North American tour, but it's January 2020.
Did something happen?
Something happened. So that tour gets postponed twice, but did finally happen in 2022. I was there. And this was an interesting one because obviously there was no like new theme, but like Gerard was always wearing interesting outfits.
Yeah,
Like
this was Dress Gerard, right?
yes, this
This was in
was
the
dress.
era
This
of
was
Dress
the
Gerard.
cheerleader
The
outfit. This
cheerleader.
was
Mm-hmm.
where he was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt at the one that I went to. And it was all just kind of interesting. And we were like, what's going on here? And now in 2025, they are about to begin the Long Live the Black Parade tour, where they will be playing the Black Parade in its entirety. And question mark, maybe there's something else. I don't know, because all of the tour announcement videos have been like in universe.
Yeah.
And there are characters that appear in the videos that appear to tie back to some of the outfits that Gerard wore on the tour previously. Um, Obviously, there is a very intense Chem fan base who are, doing the Charlie Day red strings on the
Right.
wall kind of thing, and we're all like,
Yeah.
I'm, or alternately the BuzzFeed Unsolved, I've drawn a connection, you haven't connected
Yes.
shit, kind of thing. So we'll see. Like, I know that because they had made a custom font for the Black Parade, and like the font designer has posted and been like, I've been doing, extending the font for this new tour, and we're all like, the font. Tell us more.
The font.
So yeah, as we have said, Gerard is a person who loves a concept and a theme. So I am excited to see what happens. And even if it is, just a straight up playthrough of the Black Parade, I would love that, because as I said, it is my favorite album. So I'm very
Well, and yeah,
excited.
just like again, things that so many of us have favorite bands as kids that don't make it to the time that we're adults. So, like,
Yes.
even just getting to see your favorite band play your favorite music as an adult person is
Exactly.
really, really cool when it happens.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, there continue to be rumors that maybe there will be a new album, but I'm just excited to see them playing and to get to hear some of my favorite songs, and it's just good. Like you said, like, it's definitely a band that I really imprinted on as a
Yes.
as a young person. So getting to still see it in my adult life is very exciting to me.
Are you going to Chicago?
This is why I'm going to Seattle, actually.
Okay, cool,
Um,
cool, cool.
I am going to the opening night of the tour in Seattle.
Yeah.
Ah,
They did that classic quote North American tour thing where basically there's no dates anywhere in the Midwest.
yeah. There is the one Chicago
There's
show,
one Chicago show,
but I was
which
kind of
is
like,
still 9 hours from me. So
yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah, I of course was, and this is kind of the theme for me because on the previous tour, they played Riot Fest in Chicago, and I was like,
Mhm.
I ain't going to Riot Fest, so I drove to St.
Literally.
Paul to see them instead. I am not an outdoor festival kind of girl.
No, no matter how much I like the band, I'm not coming to see you at a festival. I'm so
No,
sorry.
which ended up being the right choice because it got crazy
Yeah.
that night. So I am perfectly happy to go to a nice normal arena show
Yeah.
uh and see the thing. But
My
yeah,
Warp Tour days are done.
oh, for sure. No way. No way. Could never. I couldn't. Adult me could never.
No. You don't want to spend the whole day smelling like BO and Monster?
No. And just sweating to death. Ugh. I'm like, I get sweaty enough at just like a normal concert, being
Just,
like
yeah, sitting
amongst
in my
people
chair.
and moving
Right?
around. So we don't need to add the
I
outdoors
don't need to
onto
do all
this.
that. No.
But yeah, that is my episode about my chem. This is, I mean, it's something Midge knows that I've wanted to do for an episode for a while, since they are a spooky adjacent thing that I've loved for a long time. I hope that
Yes.
folks enjoyed me just kind of being like, I love My Chemical Romance over and over again for this episode. But I'm excited. I'd love to know if anyone else is going to be going to the tour this year. They've got some really cool supporting acts. I'm so jealous of the folks in
I know.
Florida who are getting Evanescence.
I know. Well, I just looked and saw that yours is the Violent Femmes, which
Yes.
I got to see them live on accident like 5 years ago. And they put on a hell of a show. So
I
that'll
am
be
so excited.
really, really
And
fun.
that is especially hilarious to me because I don't know if you know this, but the Violent Femmes are from Milwaukee.
Oh, are they really? I did
Yeah.
not know that.
So it's
Well,
funny
and
to
they're
me
kind
that
of
I'm
like
leaving Milwaukee to
to see
see
them.
to see an original. Obviously, they grew far
Yeah,
past,
right,
but
right.
yeah,
But
they were originally in from Milwaukee.
I did not know that. That's
Yep,
awesome.
yep. Like my parents saw them like play in bars.
Well, my in-laws saw them years ago and were like, it's become like this joke in our family that they're like notoriously terrible live. And then I went to see Ben Folds and they opened for him and they were fantastic. It was like one of the most fun times I've ever had at a live
Nice.
music event.
Ah, I'm so
They are
excited.
really engaging and fun. So yeah, that'll be a kick-ass show.
Hell yeah. So yeah, that'll be a good time. And they did also just announce a South American tour. So
With
glad to see
freaking
the
with the freaking hives,
hives.
with the hives. Ugh, yeah, that kills me. I would love to see the hives, dude. Oh
Yes,
man,
that would be so good. Oh man, music's great.
music.
Music's
Am I
great.
right?
Am I right, you guys? Does anyone else out here like
Anyone else?
music?
I know it's kind of wild and niche and quirky of us, but anybody else like music?
Anyone else like music? Anyone else have feelings about bands? Well, thank you all so much for listening. Like I said, please do feel free. Oh yeah, tell us if you are too young to have had a MySpace.
Yeah.
It will
Or
be
remember the
sad,
first
but
My Chem
we need
album?
to know.
Yeah.
And if you would like to stay engaged and in touch, you can join us on our Discord, where we hang out with all of the ghouls and chit chat. People share photos of their. We've been getting a lot of summerween parties
Mm-hmm.
that people have been sharing that look so cool and so
So fun.
fun. So love that. You can also, if you enjoy the pod, leave us a review. It is a great way to help other people find out about the podcast, and also it makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside. So I do believe Midge has a fresh hot review today.
I do. This is a 5-star review from Gracie the Crafty Nerd titled My Year Round Spooky Fix.
Ooh.
I just found this podcast a few weeks ago, and I'm currently on episode 50, I think. Hell yeah. I love it so much, and it's the perfect way to end my day. I listen to it while getting stuff ready for tomorrow and in the shower, and I always love saying goodbye to Penny and Midge.
I love it.
Thank you, Gracie. I'm glad that we're engaging enough that you're 50 episodes deep already. That's great news.
Yes, welcome. If you are looking to follow along with the pod and see a
And see a
very
picture of the
blurry
back of
picture
Penny's
of me
head.
in the background of a photo of My Chemical Romance, you can find us at Ghouls Night In Pod on Instagram. And you can also find me there at Penny Snark.
And you can find me all over the web at Midge Munster.
And until next time,
Say it with us, Gracie.
say it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.